The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. First and 12. A total roundup of BYU and Utah football and the expanded Big 12 Conference. Subscribe to the First and 12 podcast. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry on KSL News Radio.
Good evening. Welcome on in to First and 12, a weekly look at Big 12 football. Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry with you, and got a busy show on this Tuesday night, and so much to digest from what took place in the past week in Big 12 football, and also earlier today getting some groundbreaking breaking news that was shattering in the conference as well.
I don't even know how surprised we should all be. I think we were all just waiting to see what the timing was going to end up being on this, but it's going to be the number one headline we have with our Big 12 headlines as we get you started right here. Let's do it.
12 headlines.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
The dozen storylines that shape this week of Big 12 football. Headline 1.
The Mike Gundy era at Oklahoma State is over. Oklahoma State officially announced today that Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State have parted ways effective immediately. Oklahoma State AD Chad Weiberg said Cowboy football reached an unprecedented level of success and national prominence under Coach Gundy's leadership. I believe I speak for OSU fans everywhere when I say that we are grateful for all he did to raise the standard and show us all what is possible for Oklahoma State football. That's a weird comment and a day you fire someone, but he was historic. He is Oklahoma State football, but it's an end of an era for the Pokes.
And I think that's why they had to have this like weird, trepidatious kind of like, how do we word this? You don't have to word it any other way except for the guy was way behind his time. And here's the other thing: there's no apology you owe the coach. His buyout is $15 million, Mitch. And we'll get to a soundbite with him later. But, at some point, we're all standing around going, hey, listen, there are a couple ways you could approach NIL. The bag. I was listening to Joel Klatt on Fox this weekend, and he straight up on the broadcast goes, and this is the type of team that the bag gets you, talking about Texas Tech. And he said it, the bag, and I was like, what a wild time that we're in. Except for it's exactly what it is. You've got to figure out not just transfer portal era, but also the NIL stuff and all the money things that have to go along with it. Fine. You have to navigate it. You have to lead out on that, because you can be Oklahoma State or frankly Clemson, right? In the same kind of vein where you're not really owning up to what is going on in 2025. Or you could be Texas Tech. You know what I mean? Like, you could embrace the bag, or you could open the bag. You know what I mean? And so these teams and these programs that are lower tier than they normally are at a higher tier now because the level playing field. It's now above board. It's now legal. It's now part of the way they're going to do it. And if you don't think about how to do it, if you don't lead the way out, you're going to be in big, big trouble. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. We've got so much more to dive into on that. Speaking of Texas Tech, what the bag gets you is a 24-point win at Rice-Eccles Stadium, 34-10, behind their backup quarterback, Will Hammond. Nobody knew what was going on with that Utah offense. We started to find out a little bit later that Devin Dampier might not have been 100%, but the storyline should be 24 points in the fourth quarter. That offense for Texas Tech finally wore down that really good defense for Utah, but turnovers were a problem. Rice-Eccles Stadium saw the second biggest blowout of their home team in the past decade and a half under Kyle Whittingham. That's not a good sign for the Utes.
It definitely was not, but it shows Texas Tech is looking every bit the part of the preseason hype that they received. Headline 3, Utes need answers after that blowout loss. And as you noted, Kyle Whittingham revealed that Devin Dampier wasn't practicing for 2 days leading up to that big clash against Texas Tech, which had a national stage. It was high stakes. Kind of interesting on that with Dampier. We'll have more on Dampier and that injury status coming up a little bit later. Headline 4, Arizona State's Jesus Gomez kicked a 43-yard field goal on the final play of the game to give the Sun Devils a huge win at Baylor.
And that's when the Devils went and disrespected the BU logo in the middle of the field. Yeah, this was one that was a sneaky good game in the conference, and it ended up being a really, really good game. I thought Arizona State was going to lose that one down in Waco, but Kenny Dillingham rallied his guys. They're really good again. Speaking of Baylor, headline 5, they've dropped to 2-2 now. Their defense is getting better, but Dave Aranda keeps sputtering and kind of getting started, and you think he's going to turn that corner. It never really proves to be the case yet, Mitch.
Yeah, it does not. It's got to turn the corner soon. Headline 6, BYU passes its first road test this season with flying colors. They hoisted the colors over East Carolina, the Pirates, 34-13. BYU gets a blowout victory over an East Carolina team that I think people were getting too scared about because they, blew out Coastal Carolina, who was a bad football team. BYU took care of business as they should when facing a group of 5 team, and they move on to 3-0 entering Big 12 play. 9-0 in non-conference since joining the Big 12 as BYU.
Yeah, Bear looked a little bit more confident in that second half, actually pitching and catching, and it looked like it was kind of nice for him. I think he got his feet under him a little bit, and that defense is legit. Headline 7, TCU's Eric McAllister throws for 254 yards and goes off for 254 yards and 5 touchdowns. Maybe the last Iron Skillet game. It's named after a plate at IHOP, but we're going to miss you. I thought that they were going to be on the schedule for like 2031 or something like that. Is nothing on the schedule as of yet? Is that what we know?
Not as of now, so we'll see if we do see the Iron Skillet return.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think anybody in DFW actually cares about that rivalry that much.
Well, now it's Big 12 and ACC, and that to me is something worth.
Why wouldn't it be something you put on the schedule every September? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You could put it in there. Why not?
And the Big 12 dominated the ACC this season, going 7-1, and TCU made their voice heard. But Eric McAllister, that receiving yards.
That's a Ted McMillan kind of performance right there, man.
It was awesome. 7th player in Big 12 history to record 250-plus receiving yards in a game. Headline 8, UCF hands Bill Belichick in North Carolina their second loss to a Big 12 team this season. The Knights under Scott Frost are now 3-0 this year.
Yeah, Central's good. Kansas hammering.
Don't say it, Central. Don't say it. You're going to fire them up.
Kansas, headline number 9. Gets all over West Virginia. Just the week after Rich Rod is in tears going, God bless West Virginia, he suddenly was like, well, we need to get our running game figured out. We got to figure out this offense. It wasn't just that. It was the Kansas Jayhawks look pretty darn legit. We're trying to figure out these teams as we go along here. Kansas might be one of those teams that is showing some people up here. Jalen Daniels is looking very, very good. And I'm telling you, there's something there. We've been waiting for Lance Leipold to figure it out, and it looks like he may have done it so far.
Yeah, and they got their ground attack going with the running backs besides Jalen Daniels. LaShawn Williams, 129 rushing yards, and their special teams. Emmanuel Henderson Jr., Special Teams Player of the Week with his big kickoff return touchdown. Headline 10, Colorado starts Caden Salter again at quarterback. He throws for 304 yards in the win over Wyoming. They were up big, about 28-3, and they let it become a 37-20 score. We know Wyoming, seeing the Utes go up against the Pokes, they don't have much of an offense, so Colorado still got some issues defensively, but I like to think Salter is going to be that QB going forward.
Yeah, it probably helped that all the talk was Ryan Staub for those last couple of weeks. He was in timeout the week before, it seemed like, and then Caden Salter kind of woke up and said, hey, I'm going to be that senior leader. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm sure he's going to get the start against BYU. Headline 11, the 4 Big 12 teams that are currently in the top 25. You had Utah exit, but you have TCU and BYU entering the chat. And, of course, Iowa State's already there, and they got leapfrogged by Texas Tech. And, frankly, the Red Raiders may be underrated at this point at 12 in the country.
They are. In headline 12, 6 Big 12 defenses are in the top 20 for scoring defense heading into Week 5. BYU's number 1, Arizona, UCF, Houston, Texas Tech, and Cincinnati. Everyone thinks Big 12 football. They think offense, but this year might be led by the defenses. There are a lot of good defenses in this league this season, so pretty impressive how much of a presence the Big 12 has near the top of the defensive rankings in college football with total defense through 4 weeks this season.
Yeah, and the Cougs are the only defense, by the way, in the entire country who've only given up 1 touchdown all season long. Not a bad start for BYU, and that defense. Still lots of questions across the Big 12. These headlines, we roll them out, and the reality is all these storylines are brand new to us too. This league is shocking every week. The rest of college football has sort of caught up to the Big 12, Mitch. What's up is down, what's down is up across the entire country. I kind of love it, man. It makes for quite the interesting go for this season in college football. We've got lots to jump into. We're going to give you a little bit of a detailed jump into a couple of things. One, the Kyle Whittingham situation at Utah. When I say his situation, I mean the Devin Dampier and the injury reports, which of course are brand new in the Big 12, the guidelines that are supposed to be followed versus what happened last week when it was an absolute shock that Devin Dampier didn't practice for a few days. We'll come back. We got much more to go around the corner. It is KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM at 1160 AM. This is First and 12. Mitch, Harper, and Alex Kirry. Stay with us.